As a detectorist, we always think, what would a hoard of coins actually sound like on your detector? Now, thinking about this logically, I guess there's so many different scenarios to take into consideration. What would a pot of coins sound like if the pot was iron? Well, of course, it'll sound like an iron tone. Well, this video coming up shows you what I think a large copper pot of coins will sound like. Here we go. This one is a real tricky one. It's soft, it's wide. I really don't know how to call it, to be fair, but I'm just going to let you listen to it. See what you think. Coming up at 96. You never know, we all might be millionaires by the end of the day. There's just one thing I want to do before I dig this target. I want to have a look at it in the Deus pinpoint mode. Here we go, pinpoint button. Shrink it down. So did you see what I did there? While the signal was sounding off in pinpoint mode, I quickly pressed the pinpoint mode again, and that shrinks the target right down. It helps you exactly bullseye the target. Here we go, let's dig it out then. Oh, come on. Two foot down with a lovely smooth signal. What do you think? Call it?
I reckon it wants digging.
Okay, we'll dig it then.
I think mine was showing up further up that way on my little GPS thing. So it was going to, if it's 8 metres out, that's more than 8 metres.
Well, that target actually turned out to be a pipe, and Neil had dug the same pipe 2 years earlier, so he was well informed and I wasn't. But that just goes to show you what the deep targets sound like on the Deus. They're long, they're wide, they're consistent. It's always worth a try, isn't it? I'm quite sure that a deep target may give a really short, faint signal, just a click in fact. I had a coin hoard buried in my garden on my previous house, quite deep. I wanted to put the coins underneath undisturbed ground, so I had to go down and then go along, so I placed the coins underneath the soil which hadn't been dug up, because I think freshly dug holes will trick the detector. So anyway, I buried this hoard of coins and surprisingly no detector found it. Now as time went on, certain detectors started to locate this. I guess it's because the ground settled, but it wasn't a big target. It was a very faint click, and it surprised me because I would really have expected these coins to be a big wide signal, but that wasn't the case. Now I think this is because the coins weren't all electronically connected together. They were all isolated by the dirt around them, and I think this makes a really big difference. Now if the coins were buried in the pot, the detector would see the pot as a mass, and this is where you get these quiet wide signals from. Let's take the scenario someone had a load of coins in a leather pouch or something like that. The pouch is rotted away, but the coins are all fused together in a line and they're only just under the surface. Would our detector get them? This is going to be interesting. I'm using modern pound coins for this experiment, but you can use any coins you want, providing they've got a reasonably high conductivity. Now, the more coins you use, the worse the scenario gets. I've got 10 coins here, all in a line. Let's see if the detector can get these coins on the surface. Now here I've got just a single pound coin as a control. So here is our make-believe hoard, and this is our control. I'm using the XP Deus with the X35 coil. Let's go for a factory default program here. Deus Fast is a popular one, and the frequency I'm going to be using to start off with is 25 kilohertz. The pound coin on its own. 89. A lovely sound. Now you can't complain about that, can you? That is an absolutely perfect signal. Now let's go to the line of pound coins. We know the detector picks up the pound coin without any problem at all. Let's try it again now. Absolutely nothing at all. Now what I'm going to do now is just go on to the hot program, program number 9, so you can hear everything. Let's match the frequency again. 25 kilohertz. Here we go, the hot program. That's your pound coin. Lovely straight line. Now here's the hoard of coins. It's going the opposite way to indicate iron, and the audio is also iron. Let's turn 90 degrees and see what we get now. Look at the numbers. 27, 28, 6, 21. Oh! Don't forget the pound coin. The hoard. So why do you think the machine can't find those coins? Not just a Deus, try it at home on different machines. It's frequency. Believe it or not, it's true. We all know the high frequencies are brilliant for finding the small items and working Roman sites, medieval sites. Absolutely spot on. But when you're looking for a hoard on the surface, you need to think about frequencies. Let me demonstrate. Let's go into frequency and drop it all the way down to 4 kilohertz. Your single pound coin. Nothing's changed there, still a banging signal. Let's try the hoard on the surface. That was interesting, wasn't it? So let's mix things up a little bit. Let's just move the coins around just to simulate them being disturbed in the earth, so they're not in a complete straight line, they're just a little bit shuffled about. And let's see if the detector finds them then. 4 kilohertz, here we go. Seven kilohertz. 11 kilohertz. 17 kilohertz. 25 kilohertz. So we've got to ask ourselves, what's the chances of walking over a hoard where the coins are on the surface, nose to tail, in a line? Well, I think it's pretty slim really, because naturally, if it's in plough soil, they're going to be mixed around a little bit. So I think we're safe there. But it was an interesting test, wasn't it? And I bet you didn't see that one coming. Frequency is a very important adjustment when you're looking for certain targets with certain orientation. I think most hoards are found when people locate a single coin, then they find another, then they find another. So the single coin's actually drawn them into the find spot, and then they perhaps find the big pot. Why don't you post below? Let us know if you found a hoard. What sort of signal was it? Was it a loud signal or a quiet signal? It might have just been a click, but you dug it. It'll be interesting to hear the different scenarios. Well, that's it from me. Thank you very much for watching, if indeed you still are, and hopefully I'll see you on the field very, very soon. Bye for now.